Welcome to Right on Track, a songwriting podcast. Thanks to Tone for tuning in. I'm Demi Michelle Schwartz, and I'm thrilled you're joining me on my songwriting journey. So kick back and relax, don't fall flat, and remember, stay right on track. Hello everyone, welcome back to Right on Track. I cannot believe we are finally in the midst of the holiday season, and I am joined by a very special guest. He is a returning guest to the show, so you will definitely recognize his voice. Please welcome Eddie Davis. Hey Eddie.
Hey, Demi, how are you? Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
I am doing fantastic. I'm so excited to have you back. How has your year been? We're coming down to the end of 2022, which is crazy, but how has this year been for you?
Oh, it's been quite revealing. It's been a good year. There's been so much happening this year with Heart of Indie Radio and Hands of Grace Ray of Light, and now, as you mentioned, and also, getting my own music career kind of back on track, borrowing from your term.
Well, now that it's back on track, let's keep it right on track.
There we go. So it is, yeah, it's so cool to be back on the road and in front of folks again. A little frightening, but it's okay. You get used to it. It's like, okay, I remember how to ride the bicycle now, so this is cool. But yeah, it's cool. We're getting into the Christmas season already, and the holiday season with Thanksgiving and Christmas, and there's just so much to do. And it's my favorite time of the year for so many reasons. But yeah, it's cool.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you mentioned Thanksgiving there, and today we're going to be chatting all about being thankful and giving thanks because this is right after Thanksgiving. We just celebrate Thanksgiving here, and I'm very excited for what's rest to come in 2022. But to kick off our incredible chat we're going to have today about giving thanks and being thankful, can you read a quote by Oprah?
I can. So this is really kind of cool. And if you just pause and tap on the brakes and think about this for a minute, folks, it resonates pretty powerfully. What she said was, be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough.
I love this.
I do too. I mean, that sounds like Oprah Winfrey.
For
Um,
sure.
you know, but there may be some that would argue, yeah, that's easy to say because Oprah Winfrey is a multi millionaire and has everything she wants. But I would argue the other side of the fence and say, but you have to remember that's not where she came from.
Right. Yeah, that's a really important point. I really love this quote because it just underlines the overall message that if you're thankful for things, like that's all you need. And I think like for a while I focused on things that I wanted and maybe things in my life I wish I could change and see people have things that I want. It's like, oh, I wish I had that. I wish my life was different. And I was definitely not happy and it felt like I didn't have enough, honestly, like what this quote's saying. But when I really started to recognize that I have so much and I'm very grateful for the things I do have and I'm very blessed and focusing on not only the big things, but especially the little things, the most meaningful things in life, being thankful for those things, you really have so much. And it kind of makes you recognize the things you don't have that doesn't matter because what you have is all you need.
Absolutely. There's that old saying, keep your eye on the pennies and the dollars will take care of themselves. And I think the same thing applies to life situations. If you focus on the little things, and I get chastised for this all the time because like, Eddie, you focus on the little bitty things. Yes, but the little bitty things to me are what matters most, and they take care of the big things. Fair. I feel it's important to kind of talk about this for just a second because sometimes as human beings, we get into this mode of thinking about, yeah, but the whole situation is really not fair. I don't feel like you know, that person's really not contributing that much. Why should I make the extra effort? But fair shouldn't even be part of the equation. It shouldn't be part of your mental or emotional or heartfelt mathematical model, or otherwise. Uh, you should be focusing on just trying to do something because you can and making a difference in someone else's life. It doesn't matter whether you're getting something in return or not. Life's not fair. So you might as well just accept that now. Just raise your hand, say, okay, Eddie, I get it. Life's not fair. And it never will be, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think it's really important to make people aware that you are thankful for the things they do for you. And I know that, going back to the not fairness thing, like, I've done so many things for people that just, they don't even say thank you. Two words, thank you, two syllables, two words. It's not hard. Say it in person, put it in an email, put it in a text message, whatever. There are so many people who can't even bring themselves to say those two words. And for me, that's just completely baffling because even the smallest things, like, I will thank people. It doesn't need to be a huge thing. Like, the smallest thing that puts a smile on my face, changes my day, does something for me that someone did from their good heart, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. Just saying thank you, I'm like so inclined to do that. But there are people who aren't. So just, I'm curious, like, why do you think that thank you is sometimes hard to say?
Yeah, and I agree, and I think we all, and I can admit to the same problem. Sometimes we think about all the things that we do and all the extra effort that we put forth, and you wish they'd just say thank you. Sometimes when people just pause and say, "Hey, I really appreciate what you did. I know you didn't have to do that. That was so cool. Thank you so much for that." A simple thank you. But then you know what? It becomes a collective thing, and it becomes baggage that you're carrying around with you, and you need to let that go and realize that, okay, the reality is I didn't do it for thank you. I didn't do it for any recognition. I did it because I wanted to do it, you know? So that's just so important. And in terms of being thankful, here's something I'd like to kind of share. Being thankful for being part of the music business, something you truly love, we have to strive to remember to pay it forward and help keep this industry supportive, and collaborative and a loving environment to work and chase our dreams, whatever those may be. And all that is, back to just being thankful for what we already have. It is so cool to do something for a living, or as chasing your dreams, whatever the case may be. You get to be a part of something that you love, and when you do that, it doesn't feel like work. And that's how I can pull off these 20-hour days, just because I'm not a bean counter. I'm not sitting there doing something I hate. I'm doing something I love. And pretty soon you look up and go, oh, wait, it's 2 in the morning. Maybe I should take a nap. But, but yeah,
Yeah, I completely agree. I think like I am so thankful to have songwriting. It's such a gift to me and it's my way of expressing my own emotions, but also connecting with so many people that I would not have connected with without songwriting. And I think that it goes beyond the opportunities, right? Like, I'm thankful for all my interviews and all my shows and every single thing that I am given because of being in the industry and what I've worked for. But what I tend to focus the most on is like the people that I've made connections with and became friends with through music. And I'm so thankful for them. And, I try to tell my friends as much as possible, like, like, I'm really thankful to have you in my life and just reaching out and seeing how they are. And especially now with the holidays, I think it's really important to make people feel appreciated and, make them feel like you're grateful to have them in your life and that they can be songwriter friends and industry friends, but just people in your life and family who support you as well. And just making sure that they know that you're thankful for them and that you appreciate them.
absolutely. And there's another thing to be thankful for as well. And this is something that I'm particularly thankful for, and that is sometimes God puts people in our pathways, you know, and gives us opportunities to make a difference in someone else's life, throws challenges our way. They say that God didn't give us anything that we can't handle. And that's very true. I'm thankful for those challenges, that are thrown my way for me to help someone else get through something. And there's no return. There's no return on investment. The return on investment is simple. It's love. It's kindness. It's caring for your fellow man. And that to me is kind of what Thanksgiving is all about. I want to share something else really quick. This is a different quote, but this is from Henry David Thoreau, a famous author. And he wrote, I'm grateful for what I have. My Thanksgiving is perpetual. It is surprising how contented one can be with nothing definite, only a sense of existence. That's a pretty deep thought if you
Oh,
think
yeah,
about
for
it. But what
sure.
but what he's saying is his Thanksgiving is perpetual. It's not, just during Thanksgiving. It's all year round, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And it's amazing how content we can be with nothing definite. There's nothing written in stone. We're just existing day to day and being grateful for the things, whatever they are. We're grateful for the things that we have and the things that we encounter every single day. And that's a pretty powerful quote too. So I just wanted to share that's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that really just comes down to like being thankful for your life, right? Like, and you mentioned the challenges before. Like, I think that's a great point because the challenges that we face, whether it be, whoever walks into our lives or just things in our own lives that we have to face and obstacles we have to, jump over and overcome. I think that those challenges just make us stronger people and approaching the difficulties in life with the mindset of like this is just a challenge for me to get through, and once you're on the other side you kind of have realizations and you're thankful for what you learn, because I think no matter what we all have room to grow during our lives, and I think the difficult times sometimes are the things that teach us the most and can help us change the most even more than the good times.
Yeah, it's a good point. And so something else to recognize is sometimes people will bring us challenges and that they sound like complaints. They sound like whining, and really they're not. They're kind of bouncing ideas, they're venting, with us. And in reality, whether they realize it or not, they're searching for answers. And we have to recognize those as opportunities to say, okay, maybe I can give them some advice. And they say the worst advice is that which is unsolicited. I don't know that that's necessarily true. Sometimes people are looking for answers to things and they don't know where to turn. And so again, they may sound like whining, it may sound like complaining, but really they're asking for advice in their own little way. And so you have to recognize those opportunities, I think, and try to help them. If maybe you've been down that path and you can help them not have to reinvent that wheel, offer some solutions, or maybe to collectively together you can come up with an answer that will work for them and their particular dynamics and their particular situations. It's just so important, I think, to set a good example out there, particularly during the holidays, but all year round, 365 days a year. We're all role models every day, good or bad, whether we want to be or not. People watch what we do, and some model their behaviors after our own behaviors. Did you know that? It's so important to remember, especially as public figures, how much we may influence others to be responsible role models, to kind of do our part to make a positive difference in the world.
Mhm. Absolutely. I love how you mentioned being positive and making a positive difference, because I was just going to transition into how being thankful and letting people know that you're thankful for them and just having those shared experiences, I think it just creates overall positivity. Because I don't know about you, but like if I see that maybe someone's having a bad day and I just do something to brighten their day, or if someone does something for me and I say thank you because I extended that thanks, I feel good about myself, and I guarantee you the other person feels good about themselves too. And so I think just being thankful and spreading that positivity will just improve self-esteem for you and so many other people, because it's just like a ray of light that's being transferred between you.
Yep. A dangerous trap to fall into, and sometimes human beings kind of get themselves caught up in this, and it can be dangerous because you start losing people around you when you fall into this trap. But it's not intentional. It's not that people are trying to be selfish, but what I'm referring to is the trap of being a taker, being a parasite. When you take and take and take and take and take and don't give back,
Mhm.
people start recognizing that. Okay.
Yep.
And so you got to remember to not only take, you know, assistance, take help, take recommendations. It's okay to take all those things, but you got to remember to give back, give back, give back. There needs to be kind of a balance there. Um, we shared that quote from Oprah Winfrey about not focusing too much on what you don't have. And so I would probably temper her quote with the following thought. It's okay to have big goals. Just be sure to temper that a bit with contentment and recognize that, okay, I set this goal really high and I'm not there yet. Life's not fair, but I'm going to be content with wherever I land. If I only get halfway to my goal this month or this year, okay, I'm content with that. I did my best. It's where I am, and I'm content with that. I'm happy with that. But anyway, The bottom line is just remember to kind of give back. Don't forget to give back. It's just so important. In fact, giving is more important to me than getting. But that's a personal bias, I guess.
No, I agree. I mean, just you guys can play "You Get What You Give" by yours truly. That's literally what the song's about. I don't know if you felt this way or not, but I think that if you come across as being a very kind-hearted person and people see that you're the kind of person to go out of your way to do something for someone even if they don't ask for it, you just do it because you want to, just to help them. I feel like people like that, and you and me, they can start to notice like, oh, okay, this person will just keep giving to me and I can just keep taking what I need. And, they're so nice that they won't stick up for themselves or whatever. Because for a while, that's how I was. I just kept, letting people take things from me and I was willingly giving without receiving. And for a while, I was like, that's fine because, you can't expect it. I mean, being thankful and giving and being that kind of person, you don't expect reciprocation. You kind of just do it because you want to, but after a while it feels like they got comfortable with the fact that I'm like this, and so they feel like they don't need to reciprocate and keep treating me in the way they are, like taking and not giving back. And so I think like establishing that, hey, I'm a nice person, I'm gonna give, but also, you know, you need to in your own life start to give back as well, because I think that's something that's not very sustainable, especially in the music industry. Like, this is a place where we all need to give back to each other and create spaces for each other. And if you're the kind of person who just makes everything all about you and takes in situations that benefit you and never create opportunities for other people or give back in any way, people are going to notice that. And it's really going to, I think, hurt in the long run, because that's the kind of person that I personally don't want to associate with. So that's a point to keep in mind as well.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's a dichotomy here, and that's okay. Um, and what I mean by that, folks, is I've always had, people tell me all the time, and they have for many years, Eddie, you're just too nice, you're too kind. People are going to take advantage of you, and it's true, and it has happened so many times. But my answer is always pretty simple. Yeah, I understand that, but at the end of the day, when I look in the mirror, I like who I am, and I don't want to change who I am just to avoid being taken advantage of. I don't want to try to manage that, and in doing so, hurt the people who really need help. And I just have a suspicion that they're going to be taken advantage. So you don't help these folks. I'm just not going to do that. And so I tend to just put myself out there, knowing full well I'm going to get taken advantage of by certain people, and it's just part of the price to pay. Having said that, that's one of several reasons why. I mean, I think I'm a pretty decent artist manager myself, but it's part of the reason why when I got re-signed to my new label, Ashley was hired by that third party to manage me and my brand and my image and my music. And it's because I'm too nice. I'm always going to think about everybody else and take care of everybody else. I'm not going to take care of Eddie. And so that's why she's in place. she,
Yeah.
I won't say no, but she will. So
Yeah. I feel like that's a place I had to get to as well, like with myself, because it's not healthy. It's not healthy when you feel like you're so underappreciated. Like, it doesn't feel good. And I think that's
no, not
where
at
I
all.
struggled. Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's where I struggle, because I feel good about my acts of kindness and like helping other people, but then when I don't feel that those gestures are appreciated, then I start to feel like, oh wait, I just feel awful about myself now. So I think that back and forth has definitely gotten to me a little bit.
Well, sometimes we as human beings have to do things not for the recognition, i.e., the thank yous and recognition for the deeds that we do, but simply because it's something that we want to do. So the recognition comes from ourselves. If we can look at ourselves and say, okay, we did A, B, C, and D, we did the very best we could for that person, we gave it our all, and we have to be content with that because it may be the only recognition we get. We're not doing it for the medals, we're not doing it for the thank you emails or social media recognition, that kind of thing. Because if we get hung up on that, pretty soon you get bitter and you get into another trap where you're not really willing to help that many people because you think, well, nobody appreciates me anyway, so I'm just not doing anything. And that's a
Yeah.
very dark, dangerous place to
Uh-huh.
live, and it's not somewhere I want to live.
Nope.
So when I do things, I do them to the best of my abilities, and I look at it, critically, and say, did you do the best you could do? Yes, I did. Or alternatively, okay, I could have done a little better, and I'll go back and do even more so that I'm content with myself, that I really did the best I can do. You know what? If they don't come forward and say, hey, thank you, I really appreciate that. Well, that's baggage they have to carry. I'm not carrying that baggage for them. It's something that they'll learn as part of life lessons. And honestly, some people never learn it, but
Yeah.
it's not for us to teach people proper manners and
Yeah.
interpersonal relationship skills, right? We just have to do the best we can do and try to make a positive difference every day of our life, and that's really all we can do.
Yeah. Yeah, and kind of going off of that too, I think like if you consistently show these good acts of kindness and, show thanks to people, and especially being in the public eye so much as artists and, like show hosts and stuff, I think like it will start to show a little bit. The people who are paying attention, not everybody pays attention, but if you like set a good example and you're a good role model and you show these things that are, I think, common sense but to some people aren't, I think like maybe bells will start ringing in some people's heads and they'll get the light bulb moment like, oh, like maybe I should tell them thank you. It won't work with everybody, but I think, like you said, all we can do is be content with who we are and what we're doing and being happy with the people we are at the end of the day, and just doing everything possible we can to set a good example and hopefully make the world a better place.
Absolutely. And I think that goes back to what I was saying earlier about, uh, if you ask someone, hey, don't you want to be a really positive role model? And they may say, well, I don't want to be a role model at all. I just want to do my thing. But the reality is that's not how it works, folks. We are role models 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, whether we like it or not. Now, we might be a good role model. We might be a bad role model. We may exert bad behavior, unacceptable behavior, or demonstrate selfishness. But regardless of whether we're putting our best foot forward or not, we are role models. And so we're either modeling good behavior for folks, or we are modeling bad behavior, but we are modeling behavior. And there will be those who, based on our own credibility, how much they like us and respect us, will model their behavior after ours and say, you know what, if Demi is doing this must be the right thing to do. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to model myself after her. And so we have to be kind of cognizant of that and say, you know what, I have to be a really good role model because I want to make a difference, first of all. But secondly, I want to be putting my best foot forward. I want to be modeling good behavior for up and coming artists, to contribute back to the. Let's just talk about the music industry for a second. Uh, as I mentioned, keeping this a healthy and collaborative and loving environment to work in. The music industry, for the most part, is a really cool place to work, and particularly in country music in the Nashville arena. And yeah, I'm probably going to get some DMs about that, but that's okay. I'll defend it to the day I die. The state of Tennessee is a great place to be, whether you're in Memphis or Nashville or Knoxville or uh, it doesn't matter. But across the board, the entertainment industry is a great place to work, and there's so much opportunity to collaborate and make a difference in this field.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think like if you show yourself as a really great person, then you will just stand out from the crowd as somebody people want to get to know, maybe work with, build a network with. And I think I've definitely experienced that with just people I didn't even know. Like there is someone who is playing my EP on a show that I literally have not even spoken to, I didn't even know about, and they found me somewhere, just like connected with my personality and actually like reached out and said they wanted to play it. Like I think like if you're a good person and you radiate positivity online and everything that you do, then people will naturally gravitate toward that, and I think
Sure,
that's really cool.
absolutely. And I can tell you, station owners recognize that kind of thing too, as do their teams. And so, if you're an independent artist out there and you're trying to get your music in front of folks on these various platforms, and you find out that a station has played your music, hey, what does it really cost you to get on social media and publicly thank them for playing your song? Because you know what? They don't have to,
Mhm.
right?
Yep. Yeah.
just thank them. What does it cost you? Nothing, but it makes them feel good. Okay, Joe Smith appreciated the fact that I played their music, or our team put it in the lineup. So it's all that give and take that, again, setting a good example. And when you did that, you not only thanked the station for playing your music, but you just, again, you perform the role of a role model and setting an example for other artists. And they start thinking, wow, you know what? That's probably not a bad idea. Maybe I should be thanking stations for playing my music because I appreciate it. It's important. That's how we survive. That's how we get our music out there. And if you say thank you, you know what? They might just play it again.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. For sure. I think it's all about just being a good person in general and helping people where you can, giving thanks where you can, and just being a positive ray of light. So, Eddie, it was lovely having you. But before we go, can you share any final thoughts you have about being thankful as we come down to the holidays at the end of the year?
well, I'm glad you said that because I think it's important to figure out what the opportunities are that are in front of us this year. And something that we're doing this year that we do every single year. This is our 6th year doing it. We are supporting Toys for Tots. There's so many kids out there who their families, through no fault of their own, just don't have the financial resources to perhaps even have a dinner or a Christmas tree, and certainly not presents. And so, Toys for Tots is managed by the United States Marine Corps, and it is supported by other organizations like ourselves at Heart of Indy Radio every year. And so, we just kind of want to get the word out. So, definitely look for the drop spots in your particular areas. It might be a public library or a fire station, a police station, bookstore. They're just everywhere. Drop off a brand new unwrapped toy. It needs to be unwrapped for a couple of reasons. Number one, they want to inspect it, make sure it's safe. And number two, that it's gender specific. But a lot of these little kids, this may be the only Christmas they have. So definitely consider doing that, please. Also, if you can't get out to the locations because you're just super busy, won't fit in your schedule, although I personally feel this is not something that you can do. It's something you make time for. You don't look for a hole in your schedule. You make room in your schedule to go do this kind of thing. But what if you're housebound, you're sick or something, and but you want to participate? Well, it's easy. You can do this at home in your PJs from the comfort of your own home. You can make the donation at toysfortots.org, and you'll still be touching the life of a child. So we would encourage everyone to participate in that this year. That is just so, so important. Also, don't forget food pantries because there's a lot of hungry folks out there this year. And women's shelters. Women's shelters are grossly underfunded and they need help as well to give these women, these battered women and homeless women with children, a place to stay and food and clothing. All that is so important. So you see, in 30 seconds, we talked about so many ways that you can make a difference this holiday season.
Absolutely. Thank you so, so much, Eddie. Very quickly before we go, can you share where everybody can find you online, social media, and listen to the incredible shows that you air every weekend?
Sure. So we have the Memphis show on Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. On Saturdays, it's time for country music, alternative country music, the Nashville sound with Hearts of Nashville. Again, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And on Sunday, we have the European show, which is all EDM and dance and rock. It is very edgy music. It is available 2 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. GMT. So you want to check out all of those. We have Heart of Indy magazine that is in its 3rd edition, headed for the 4th edition, dropping Christmas Eve. So check that out. It is for indie artists by indie artists. And we have a new mental health initiative coming out. Should I talk about that?
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so as a lot of you know, and if you don't, shame on you. Just kidding. So we we have this triad. 1/3 of what we do is mental health related, and specifically tied to education, awareness, and prevention of suicide, particularly teen suicide. And we have a huge protocol in place, a pretty big system in place. But we're taking it to the next level. So we're rolling it out in the Christmas edition of Heart of Indy magazine. It's called Indie Core. So this is a core group of independent artists and professionals like myself, who are pulling together and structuring an even more advanced proactive approach to mental health and suicide education, awareness, and prevention. So just kind of look out for that rolling out in the Christmas edition of Heart of Indie magazine. So you'll see the round circle with indie in small lowercase white letters and core in all uppercase blue letters, and then a music staff running through the top of it. So that tells you right there, okay, these are indie artists. This is mental health. This is kind of cool. So we're very proud of this. All of our core members will be certified through the mental health industry. So these are folks that you can trust. Again, we're not dismantling anything we already have in place. Everything that we're doing is already saving lives, and we're very proud of that. We're just taking it a step further and getting more boots on the ground out there and trying to reach more people proactively before it becomes a crisis. And that is going to be a huge advantage, I think.
Perfect. Well, I'm looking forward to the launch of Indie Core. And just tap on Heart of Indie is on Twitter and Instagram at Heart of Indie, and the website is heartofindieradio.com, right?
Yep. Well, hands of grace -rayoflight.com or heartofindieradio.com, either one. And as you mentioned, all the social media is at Heart of Indie. Literally everything is at Heart of Indie. So yeah, definitely check us out. Thank you to me for inviting me back. It's always so cool to hang out with you.
Of course, it was lovely having you back for a very special conversation all about Thanksgiving and being thankful. Listeners, I hope you enjoyed this episode with Eddie Davis. And of course, until next time, stay
Stay
right
right
on
on
track.
track.